They can use any part of the racetrack. It's a very impressive thing to see cars that really work, because if the suspension is properly tuned, they can go low occasionally to get through traffic. A car that doesn't handle well can only really go through in one groove, and this you can't see at the moment. Look how close they're getting here, and they're really tucked in behind that 40 car there.
That's DK Ulrich. He doesn't get out of the way, and we've got cars spinning all over the track. Both leaders are out of it, as Cale Yarborough is still spinning down the track. The yellow flag goes out immediately. Waltrip is slid through on the inside, and we have both leaders now who have dropped by the wayside. We don't know whether they're going to be out or not, but the yellow is out, and that means Donnie Allison has inherited the lead, and David Pearson is right behind him. There were other cars involved there too, Jackie. I think that is car number 68. That's Janet Guthrie, who has turned back, headed up toward the track. She got involved in spinning as the other cars went. One went down in the infield. There's DK Ulrich's car. I don't know exactly what happened, but it looked to me as if he didn't give way.
He didn't give way, but it looked also, I'm afraid, as if Darrell Waltrip gave him a little tap in the rear end, and you see another car there. Terry Bivens has been involved in the accident. Look at the smoke coming out of his car. These are the tires that are smoking, and there you see a very forlorn car of Cale Yarborough. My goodness, that's had a big impact as he tries to get back to the pits. He's driving very quickly. That accident happened going into turn 3, a very exciting piece of drive. Here we can see it in slow motion, and you can see the contact that Cale's had. He seems to be doing a beautiful pirouette down this racetrack, spinning almost in control. He just misses the wall there and then comes into contact really heavily with that concrete wall high on the racetrack of turn 3, heading towards turn 4 now, and not his normal line we would have to recognize. Not a good way for this race to go for these two guys. Now here we see again in slow motion perhaps the beginning of this accident. They come down behind this car number 40, and Darrell Waltrip thinks he's going to move over, but he doesn't. They come into contact there. He doesn't hit him straight because the 40 car heads towards the wall, then just taps, and that's the contact patch there. Taps Yarborough's car as he starts to spin, and of course going towards the infield there is Darrell Waltrip. He hits the barrier hard there, the concrete wall on the bottom there very hard. What a mess.
And I think you're going to see something rather unusual here. Waltrip actually backed right in, there he is, right into the pit area on the backstretch. They do have pits back there, of course, so he got out of the way quickly, but now they've got Cale Yarborough's car, and some sheet metal work definitely has to be done here to get that car out and running. Of course, he is the point leader by some 130 points over Richard Petty to try to win his second straight Grand National Driving Championship.
A lot of work being done on that car. The chassis must be bent. It certainly is never going to handle the same on this racetrack today, even if they can get it back in there. The driver's still in the car, so he must think something's being done. There, they're pushing him out. They're telling him to go out, do at least one more lap, and feel how the car is. And here is Darrell Waltrip's car being pushed in.
All four tires are flat, Jack.
Absolutely. Look at the smoke pouring off of these. The wheels are turning, but the tires themselves are being rubbed against the wheel arches, the mud guards, as we call them back over our way. And look at the steam and the heat coming off there as that car gets brought in.
So the mean old lady at Darlington jumps up and snaps both leaders, Darrell Waltrip and Cale Yarborough. The yellow flag is out, and we'll be back in just a moment. Darrell Waltrip is still behind the wall after that spectacular accident. Cale Yarborough miraculously is out on the race course, and there are the tires off Darrell's car, Jackie.
Yes, these are the tires you see there, the safety tires. The inner lining is in the inside there. The tire went flat on the outside, a great safety factor of these NASCAR tires, and there's a very dejected Darrell Waltrip, obviously disappointed, perhaps knows that he started the whole commotion.
All right, they're back racing once again, and it's David Pearson in the lead. Buddy Baker is second. Donnie Allison is third.